Greetings from Costa Rica. It's March 26th, 2021, and another month has almost passed us by. Today I'm giving a quick March update on Costa Rica, covering everyone's three favorite topics: real estate, COVID, and politics here in Costa Rica as of March. Stay tuned. Greetings from Costa Rica. I hope you're doing well. My name is Matt Rosenstiel, and today I'm giving my brief monthly update for March 2021 as to what's going on here in the country, and especially in Guanacaste, Costa Rica, the western province. I'll cover the real estate market. I'll go over briefly COVID and sort of restrictions, what's going on in the country with that. And finally, I'll be talking briefly about the political situation and what the government is up to, especially in regards to some anxiously awaited news about incentives to move here. If you like straightforward information about Costa Rica, do be sure to subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Without further ado, let's discuss very quickly, as of March 2021, what's happening in the real estate market here in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. And it's a lot of the same news that I've presented in my last two updates. Our market is extremely hot right now, given a confluence of factors. One of them was very much that for 7 or 8 months last year, not a single international flight could land, or rather, nobody could come down to Costa Rica during our travel shutdown. Another factor is everybody leaping to find a better lifestyle now that they're feeling a little bit of freedom, and now that they're reevaluating where they want to be, given that perhaps last year they weren't really happy having to be locked down in a city or a suburb in the US, Canada, or Europe. There is almost no inventory that is reasonably priced available in the major tourism hubs and select communities. If you're looking for a condo under $300,000 with good rental potential in Tamarindo or in Potrero or in Flamengo, right now there are very few options on the market, and they're drying up. You're seeing stuff go under contract within a week or two of listing in some cases. And in many properties, you're seeing sellers get full asking price if they have a location in one of those prime communities: Tamarindo, Flamengo, Potrero, a tourism hub. If you're out there and desperately searching for any kind of inventory below $300,000, I have a solution for you. And in fact, I was just talking to a guy who doesn't have my bias, but was calling it one of the up and coming areas. Down in Playa Junquillal, a very quiet community where we've missed successive waves of development, there are condos and homes available under $300,000. One of the condo projects, Vias Venado, I will be featuring this coming March 31st, Wednesday night at 7 p.m. We're going to be doing a live 360-degree virtual showing of the Vias Venado condos, where you're looking at just $205,000 for a fully furnished, beautiful 1,400 square foot condo, just 300 meters for the beach. That sort of inventory that's still on the market, you're finding in the quiet areas outside of tourism hubs. Again, when you get into developed communities and places with a lot of movement, we have already seen an explosion of sales, and right now everything is getting snapped up in those locations. Let's continue with a quick overview of what's going on in terms of COVID, the restrictions, etc. Costa Rica is lucky to have seen a continued decline in the number of cases, hospitalizations, etc. Really, our peak for COVID, just like the US, happened back in November, December. Since then, we've had declining case numbers, and the country continues to gradually take tiny bits of restrictions here and there and ease them. We have Semana Santa, Holy Week, coming up. That's March 28th until April 3rd, culminating with Easter Sunday. Semana Santa here in Costa Rica is a huge deal because this is a traditionally Catholic country. Catholicism is very ingrained in the culture, and just over decades of tradition, centuries of tradition, they have established Semana Santa, Holy Week, as an extremely important holiday. So we'll be seeing over the next week a lot of tourism coming out to the coast. The authorities are going to actually maintain the same restrictions we have in place and not add anything additional. And we'll all be trying to play it safe as we see that surge out here along our coastline. In general, I have a lot of clients who ask, do you have to wear a mask constantly in Costa Rica? What's the deal with that? There is a national obligatory policy that essentially if you're indoors with anybody else in a building where an employee or people from the public can come inside, you do need to be wearing a mask. At restaurants, you're allowed to take a mask off once you sit down at the table, but you're expected to wear one into the restaurant. In general, the thing that has been spectacular about living in Costa Rica since March of last year is really that here you spend an enormous amount of your time outdoors anyhow. Let's move on quickly to touch on a brief note about the government and politics. Everybody heard perhaps 6 months ago that there was speculation the Costa Rican government was going to be providing incentives for foreigners to move down here. There was discussion of lowering the residency investment limit to $150,000. There was rumor of starting a digital nomad program, visas, all kinds of things. There was also rumor that they were going to pass a bill to allow foreigners to bring down a container full of goods without taxes and get either a vehicle or your household items down here on a tax-free container. Well, the long story short is that there's no news yet. The Costa Rican government is currently working to finalize everything that they need to do in order to receive that IMF loan we've discussed previously on this channel. They had requested a loan of about $2 billion to help shore up their finances that have been obviously devastated by the lack of tax revenue from COVID, but also, in a typical government fashion, they're increasing debt levels, etc. They had requested about $2 billion. The IMF requires that Costa Rica make certain compromises, show that they're going to shore up both their tax revenue and their spending here internally in order to get the loan. Well, the loan was approved March 1st. As of March 26th, the national legislature has been primarily focused on getting a lot of the proposals in order to structurally adjust their finances down here in Costa Rica, and we have no progress on those foreigner incentives, at least to my knowledge. Who knows, it may be in committee or something that's being developed, but you still have a $200,000 minimum investment limit to get your temporary residency through the investor status. You do not have tax-free containers yet, and we haven't seen progress on that front. Instead, we're hearing about the different spending and tax adjustments that might be in the final legislative package that Costa Rica's national legislature passes in response or in order to get this IMF funding. One of the other things I'm about to do, if you're interested in retiring to Costa Rica and especially looking at investment strategies to ensure that you can adequately fund your retirement and have a sustainable finances on your end, you should definitely tune in this Sunday, March 28th, just 2 days from now, at 10 a.m. Costa Rica time. I'm going to be doing a live broadcast with somebody who I've met only online, but that I really have enjoyed talking to, Jerry V. Hall, not to be confused with Jerry Hall. Jerry V. Hall is somebody who's moved to Costa Rica as a retiree who has a unique perspective on retirees' finances, how to ensure you have sustainable financial resources to fund your retirement entirely. I'm going to be speaking to Jerry V. Hall this Sunday again, March 31st. I'm sorry, that's Sunday, March 28th at 10 a.m. Costa Rica time. Do turn in for that live event. I'll put a link to it up here as a little card. Remember, I also have on March 31st, Wednesday at 7 p.m., I will be also doing a 360-degree virtual open house tour of the Villas Venado condos in Junquillal. Those are starting at just $205,000 and represent exactly the kind of inventory our market needs right now. So I'll look forward to seeing you at both of those events. Thanks very much for tuning in. Again, this is Matt Rosensteel with my March 2021 update. Have a good one and pura vida.